Good afternoon, everyone, and once again, welcome to Walk the Talk Sports, the best sports talk show south of the Big Apple, east of the city of brotherly love. Woo! And once again, today's show, we have a lot of catching up to do. We're going to wrap up, of course, the Super Bowl. We have March Madness around the corner. We have spring training, which Alex is going to talk about, his Padres. And we have a lot of hockey news coming down the pike now, getting ready for the playoffs. A lot of teams are in a more or less trading mode. So, and I think tomorrow afternoon, 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, is the trading deadline for the NHL. So there's a lot of really news coming out from that league and as far as tomorrow. But before we get started with our show, I just want to give thanks to everyone who sent sympathy cards, love to me, my family. My oldest brother did pass away on Valentine's Day with a battle of pancreatic cancer. So he's in a better place. He's looking down on us, and I'm sure he's saying the show must go on. But really, thank you to everyone who sent those cards, everyone who called, to the clubs who reached out, the bocce club, the dance club, the Italian club, the golf club. Thank you so much. Gladly appreciate it. So let's get started. All right, Alex, you want to start with football? Go ahead.
I can. You know what? I'm just excited to be back. It seems like it's been forever. You know, since the last time we were all together, we had a little road trip we're going to talk about. Now it seems like old news, but even though it was exciting. So I guess somehow in there we'll mix in our road trip.
Yeah, we'll save it to the end.
Yeah, we'll save it till the end.
With golf.
All right. I mean, football, there's not a whole lot. Obviously, I see that I know we've talked about obviously the Chargers are my team, but we also follow the Cardinals. So I see that the Cardinals finally broke down and hired them a new coach, Jonathan Gannon. I guess he was a defensive coordinator for the Eagles.
Yes, that's right.
So he's now the new head coach of the Cardinals. I guess he already has a big love affair with our quarterback, Murray, so hopefully he'll change some stuff around.
Oh, now he's your quarterback, huh? Now you're in love with him?
No, I'm not. The coach is for some reason. The coach means. But speaking of quarterbacks, and speaking of our
Jet fans out
loyal
there.
guest, Frank, out there. The last I heard, obviously we've been talking back and forth about Carr, about Rodgers becoming a Jet. I heard some rumors that Lamar Jackson will be looking at the Jets. So,
it's the New York media, the New York newspapers. It's amazing how they phrased certain situations, and I laugh because Groundhog Day is we're waiting. Aaron Rodgers went into seclusion, into the dark, and he finally came out this past week. So did he see his shadow? Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. So is he going to be a Jet? Is he going to be a Raider? Who knows? But you know what? Time will tell, hopefully sooner than later. There's plenty of good quarterbacks out there. But hopefully the Jets don't screw it up as they always do when it comes to quarterbacks. So let's say a prayer for that. Go ahead.
I don't know how you Jet fans, how you do this. Why can't you just have a good solid quarterback like Herbert and just call it a day?
Well, easier said than done. Absolutely. But before we get off on the football, just briefly on the Super Bowl. Look, I picked the Eagles to win. But deep down, you knew Mahomes was going to pull a rabbit out of the hat, and he sure did in the second half. So, the Eagle defense was so good throughout the whole year, and in the Super Bowl, they didn't even have one sack. So, congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs for winning their Super Bowl. It seems like forever since it was a Super Bowl, but obviously we haven't been with everybody in forever. So, so it's like new news for us. But I'll jump back and forth when we talk about the Super Bowl. That was part of our road trip. I'll only talk about that part right now. We went to Phoenix the weekend of the Super Bowl. We were able to go to the stadium and pal around with all the green and red jerseys all over the place. Yeah. I don't know. It's funny. I think that. Maybe it's just me. I think that I saw more red than green, but I don't know. I would say so too. I did see more red, especially that Saturday when we were walking through Glendale. Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
But that was all part of our trip.
But you heard the Eagle fans.
You did.
Right. More than the Kansas City fans. True.
But yeah, absolutely. We talked about it before. It's pretty tough. Mahomes seems to have a way of pulling out those games, and they played a great game. So
yeah, Mahomes
hats off to the Chiefs. Yeah, so.
And one final note of football: the Jets, the New York Jets, will be playing the Hall of Fame game in August versus the Cleveland Browns up in Canton, Ohio. And which I think falls into place because 2 Jets are going to be inducted, Joe Klecko and Darrelle Revis. So congratulations to them. And Frank, we look forward to the Jets preseason once again, and we'll be the first team out there this year. So I think that's a wrap on football. Okay. NBA. Guess who the hottest team is in the NBA basketball? It is, believe it or not, the New York Knicks. They are winners of 7 straight. They are playing phenomenal basketball with the help of 2 Villanova ex-players, college players. But they're in 3rd place. They just passed the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, the Nets lost some good players. We'll get to it. We'll get to your guy. But they sit in 3rd place, I think 4 games behind the 76ers. The Celtics are still in 1st. But it's an exciting time in Madison Square Garden with the Knicks finally playing good basketball. And, of course, the Rangers getting ready for the playoffs. We'll get into that a little bit later. Go ahead, Alex.
No, we're just talking about basketball. And again, I'm going to jump back to our road trip. So this kicked off the road trip. We were sitting in Phoenix Thursday morning before the Super Bowl, and on comes the local Phoenix news, and I yelled for Rob, better get in here. Here comes the news saying, blockbuster trade, Kevin Durant to the Phoenix Suns. You son of a gun. So absolutely, that's exciting for the Suns. I have a feeling they're gonna kick it in gear here towards the end. It's a pretty stellar lineup once they've added Durant to that lineup.
It takes a while for a play to get adjusted to a system.
I think
it will. It's coming. Yeah,
he's been there since.
Yeah.
We signed him since Super Bowl weekend, but his debut was last night. So he's been hanging out in Phoenix. But his debut, he scored 23 points last night against I think they played North Carolina or Charlotte.
You're right.
So. All right, that's all I got for
So that's basketball. This briefly going to touch now on college basketball. March Madness is right around the corner. I mean, a lot of the conferences now are in their championship mode, but it's an exciting time. I think the selection should be coming up within a week, 2 weeks, the selection committee as far as who plays who in the opening round. I'm just going to read off the top 10 teams nationally throughout the nation. First team is Houston, Alabama, Kansas, UCLA, Purdue, Marquette, Baylor, Arizona, Texas, and Gonzaga. Those are the top 10 teams in the nation as far as college basketball. But locally, as far as the Big Ten, Purdue, I'm going to just name the top 5. Purdue, Michigan, Indiana, Northwestern, Maryland. Rutgers is in the 9th position in that conference. If they make the dance, the March Madness, I hope they do, but more or less they're still on the cusp of that. So keep your fingers crossed for Rutgers. As far as the Big East, Alex mentioned before, Marquette is the top dog, followed by Xavier, Providence, Creighton, and UConn. Villanova my team sits in 6th place. But, they've had a rebuilding year. If they make the dance, it's a bonus, but that's yet to come. And one final note on basketball. Rutgers ladies, the women's team last night, beat Northwestern 63-59 in their first conference championship as far as that's concerned. Nothing to do with the big dance, but as far as, the conference, the Big Ten, they beat Northwestern, so it was a good game. Let's hear it for Rutgers. Okay. Go Go
Well,
ahead.
speaking of records, it's funny we get the applause. Is that Rob and I, we sort of chuckled. I'm drifting back and forth to our road trip here. So we're in Phoenix, and we're at the Phoenix. We're at the Phoenix Open.
Yeah. Look, the Talk Sports is at the Phoenix Open in Scottsdale. We are here finally. Yeah.
And we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a sec. But I happen to be wearing this sweatshirt. So, being in Phoenix, Arizona, we laughed so hard. I must have got 27 people in one day as I walked by. Hey, Rutgers!
Big Ten, yeah.
It was the craziest thing ever. I look at Rob like, I got this because he took me to a Rutgers game. And we're getting all yelled at all day long from the folks in Arizona. So it was.
Yeah, that was a nice surprise. It was. A lot of people from Michigan, the Big Ten. But it was, and I think we had some Illinois fans too. They're in the big conference. But it was comical. It was. They thought Rutgers. Alex was a Rutgers alumni. So there you go. That's it.
I felt important. You can say something.
All right. Anything else? I will cover for my soccer fans out there. Let's hear it, soccer. All right. All righty. Let's go. I'm just going to break down the Serie A division, which is the Italian division, the Premier League, which is the English, and then the Championship League. In the Italian League, Napoli is in first place, followed by Inter, AC Milan, Lazio, and Roma. In the Premier League, the English League, it's Arsenal, Manchester City, Manchester United, Tottenham Hotspur, and followed by Newcastle United. That is the Premier League. Now in the Championship League, I think I've described it in the past, is that Europe, whether it's in the Italian or the English league, they call it a championship league. So they break off from their normal schedule to play games against each other, which is exciting. It's great. So I'm just going to give you the top teams in each bracket. In the A bracket is Naples. In the B bracket is Porto. In the C bracket is, I think it's Munich. Yes. In the D bracket it's Tottenham Hotspur. In the E division is Chelsea. In the F division it's Real Madrid. In the G division is Manchester City. And in the H, the last one is Benfica, I guess. Benfica. I have no idea.
Portugal.
What is it? It is. Okay,
Portugal.
yes. So, but the top team in the championship, as far as it gets record and points, is the Real Madrid. It sits on top, followed by Naples. So that's soccer. As it gets into that, you know what? Diane's got me. I watch it. If I'm home during the week, in the morning, they have the Italian League on Paramount Plus, and I think on NBC is the Premier League. So it's good stuff. Alex doesn't believe it, but I guess because he's working and I'm home. But that's it. Okay, that is soccer.
Have you ever seen Hotspur play?
No, I've heard of him, but no.
No. All right. Where do you want to go with this?
I'm just going to touch briefly. I got some for the tennis people out there. After winning the Australian Open in early February, Novak Djokovic is seeking to get special permission because there was an issue last year with him with the COVID. He didn't want to get vaccinated, but he is seeking to enter the U.S. despite his COVID, despite the COVID vaccine mandate. So who knows how that's going to lead into the prime of the tennis season during the year. So that's it for tennis.
Look, COVID's a real deal.
That's it.
All right. Hey, I'm going to run down real quick, just some NASCAR real quick.
Yes.
Obviously, we're way behind because we haven't had a few shows, so I'm going to jump back to Daytona 500. Ricky Stenhouse was your winner of the Daytona 500. Since then, because I know we got a lot of NASCAR fans out there, last week was the Pala Casino 400 in Fontana, California. and Kyle Busch was the winner of that race. And it brings us up to this week, which will be in Las Vegas. The Pennzoil 400 will be raced this week. Yeah, so that's your NASCAR the last 3 weeks.
Okay, I am going to, we'll save high school and golf for last. I'm going to get into, which is a hot topic, which I mentioned before, is the NHL hockey. The trading deadline is tomorrow at 3 p.m., but a lot of teams have jumped the gun already and made some major trades. The Rangers picked up the hot guy on the market is Patrick Kane, who'll play his first game tonight at Madison Square Garden against Ottawa. They picked up Vladimir Tarasenko from St. Louis. The Devils made a great trade in picking up the superstar from the San Jose Sharks, Tino Meyer, which he's a fantastic wing. He's a gritty player, good for them. And the Islanders, with the addition of Premier Ingwood from Toronto and the big fish, Bo Havoc from Vancouver, have up their rosters, or we're all set for the playoff run. But now you figure the Boston Bruins have been the best team in the league the whole year. And I have to give them credit. They have not sat on their laurels. They have picked up, today even, they picked up Tyler Bertuzzi, a tough winger, good for playoff experience. They picked up Garvey Hartway, another rough forward. And the big trade they made with Washington, they picked up Dmitry Orlov, who is a tough defenseman who can also score goals. So here's a team that already has the talent, top dogs in the NHL, and they improved their roster immensely. So we'll see what else comes down the pike as far as the NHL is concerned. But playoff time should be very exciting in hockey. That's it for the NHL. Okay.
All right. What do we want to go with this?
Golf. All right.
I thought we were saving golf. We're going to go baseball?
Oh, yeah. I don't have any baseball, so that's you.
I mean, I don't have a lot. I'm just going to talk a little about spring training. I'm pretty excited. And again, I'm going to drift back and dream back to our road trip. But before I get started, just give me 1 sec.
Oh, as you can see, he's taking a number out of Rob's book. He's switching caps. There he goes.
Give me 1 sec.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Hold on.
Take your time, Alex. I forgot.
That's right. So, as you can see behind me, the San Diego Padre jersey. You know, Rob and I, we were on our road trip at the golf tournament in Phoenix, and I'm going to tell you a story because spring training is going on right now, the Cactus League. We spent 2 days on the golf course. You know, we were supposed to be driving out to see the Super Bowl to the stadium. So here we load up.
But wait. The build-up was that I was dead tired from the 2 days.
He was tired.
I was tired from the 2 days of golf.
When you
walk
around 18 holes with an older guy, he tires out. But I will give him some credit when we get back to golf, and I'll jump back to that too. But to spring training, so we load up the car. We got the sisters in the back. We're driving down the freeway in Arizona. Everyone's asleep. I said, you know what? I'm going to fix these guys. So they think we're going to see the Super Bowl stadium in Glendale. Little do they know, Alex used to live in Phoenix, and so I made a little pit stop.
Little detour.
Pulled into the spring training facility of the San Diego Padres. Got out of the car. I got literally up to the front door to the shop there.
Bachi Galoop, come on into a real team store, spring training here in Peoria, Arizona.
Okay, this is what happened on the ride to Glendale, the Super Bowl event, is that I dozed off in the car and he drove instead, got off the freeway, and he took me to the team sport at the Peoria complex where the Padres, San Diego Padres, have their Cactus League spring training. So here we are. Please pray for me because he's like a kid in a candy store. Woohoo! Look at him up to that. I cannot believe it.
Till this guy finally wakes up, and I just stood out there like, Look at this, Rob.
He was like a kid in a candy store. All I saw was Alex's back, his hands flapping, like there he goes into the candy store, his San Diego Padres. So I walk in, and you know, people were very nice, and I'm saying, damn, not one? I could see, okay, no Met stuff, but not one Yankee stuff? Nothing. I said, all right, we're across the continent, we're across the United States on the West Coast, but still, no Yankee, or just Padres, and there he is trying one hat. Priscilla, what do you think? Should I get this? Should I get that? I'm saying, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Here we are,
Here
folks.
we go again.
Here we are, folks, at the sports complex, as you can see. Alex just walked out of the candy store because he's a big Padre fan, and we're at Gate B.
We're holding
at
up
the
traffic,
complex.
but it's okay. But because I got Rob here to the San Diego Padres Sports Complex. There's no Mets crap going on here. All right. We'll see you at the Super Bowl stadium.
But it was fun. It
But,
was.
you know, it's
He got me.
spring-
He did get me.
It's
He
spring
did get
training.
me.
I'm excited about the Padres. I don't know how many baseball fans we have out there, but for the last year, this guy's embedded in my head. There's nothing but Mets. And so now the Padres, you know, they have an incredible lineup. Probably one of the best lineups in the major leagues.
If this is the year you're going to take the Dodgers, this is the year.
Yeah. So
This is it.
So
This
it's
is it.
exciting to be a Padre
I give you
fan.
that.
I'm excited. I've been following them in the spring. I think they have a couple losses, but who counts on spring because they're always rotating all the other players out. But what an incredible lineup with some of the folks they have there in San Diego. It's going to be a great year. So I had to sport this so year round I could wear it. And
I dare you, if we go see them play the Phillies in Philadelphia, I dare you to wear that. I want to see it. There's my dare.
so.
That's it. Okay?
All right.
All righty.
Spring just started, and a lot of the teams are just playing some of their folks, but
Right.
obviously it's still fresh.
But
so we'll see.
we forget, there is the World Classic that, Mexico, United States,
That a lot of
Japan,
players are gonna leave, yeah.
A lot of players are going to leave spring training to play in this World Classic they have, I think, every 4 years, like the Olympics. So that will be their spring training. And I think the games are going to be televised either on the MLB Network or ESPN in a few weeks. So that should be exciting also. But yeah, I just didn't want to forget to mention that.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's all the spring training is still fresh. So by the next show, we'll have some stats on. But I know the Padres. I think they have a couple. I think they lost their opener to the Mariners, and I think that they lost to the Dodgers. But I don't know who they were playing that day. But ever since then, I think they've won everything else. So they're doing well. They definitely have a lineup.
But it's a nice. It's where we stopped. It's a nice facility where the Padres and they share with the Mariners. Correct.
Correct.
And it's nice. And there are plenty other teams located in Arizona. So it is really, really beautiful.
Rob
I have
loved
to say.
Arizona.
I sure did. I love the sunset. Love the mountains. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Don't ask me that in, I guess, when July, August, when
Yeah.
it's like 110. But
Yeah, you don't want to be there.
yeah,
but,
yeah.
So we had some good times. We had some great food. Drove around the desert a little bit, all of us together.
Yeah.
And
So let's talk about the Open.
Let's talk about it. So we're going to jump into some golf. So obviously we're gonna drift back here because that was our road trip, and we're going to talk a little PGA. Our whole purpose for our road trip was to go to the Open, as well as my daughter's baby shower.
Yeah.
But the Open was awesome. We spent a great couple days. The first day we brought the sisters with us, had a good time. The tickets we had were on the 18th green in the clubhouse. All you could eat and drink for free. Started every morning off with a nice Bloody Mary.
Bloody Marys at 8 a.m. in the
8
morning? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what a beautiful, and I tried telling Rob, and he says, until you could be there in person and just see the beauty of that. I mean, you want to talk about a golf course being beautiful, but how immaculate those courses are. And, we had a fabulous time. Times that obviously memories we'll remember for a long time. Something about the Phoenix Open, what it's known for, it's really, a lot of players go there. It's really a party atmosphere. It's not your typical golf course where it's shh. It's whatever you want to do. And they're famous for the 16th hole.
Right.
The 16th is a stadium. They have built a stadium around this par 3 16th. It's extremely difficult to get into that. It's extremely rowdy when the players hit. You're booed, you're cheered. They throw beer glasses onto the course. It's literally chaos. So if you've never seen a golf tournament, you look at the Phoenix Open, legendary, the 16th, that was actually the hat I had on, was the picture of the 16th green. It was incredible. So our first day, you know, we spent following some golfers, had a great time. Who of all people, out of the thousands of people in Arizona at the Phoenix Open, we're walking down the sidewalk and the Fox News reporter stops us.
Call it the greatest show on grass, the People's Open, whatever term you want to use. It is drawing huge crowds as usual.
Yeah, that's right. The WM Phoenix Open, it really got started a few days ago, but today was the first round for the pros. Anita Roman spoke with fans.
Rob Lombardo, his wife, and friends came all the way from New Jersey for the WM Phoenix Open. The excitement of the tournament bringing in golf fans from all over.
Yeah, so it's nice. I'm here with my husband, my son, his girlfriend. Yeah.
We have the best field we've ever had in history. 18 of the top 20 in the world are here. So I think our fans are really excited to come out and see some players like Rory McIlroy.
As the pros tee up, Ryan Woodcock, Director of Communications for the Open, says fans line up and this year they're packing it in.
It's just a dream come through. I mean, the weather's beautiful compared to the East Coast, so this is fantastic.
What's fantastic for golf enthusiasts like Lombardo is the chance to watch the pros and the greatest show on grass. Anita Roman, Fox 10 News.
Here comes the interview. Freaking cheeseball jumps in there. He's freaking from New Jersey. He's spilling it out.
My bucket list. I told her it was my bucket list.
Sure as heck. On the news that night, we were on the Phoenix Sports Channel. It was the greatest thing. So
it was titled "Rob Lombardo and his friends from New Jersey traveled all the way to the Phoenix Open."
Yeah.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
It was.
It was a great day. You know, on day 2, we decided to leave the girls at home. 8 a.m. we were there with the Bloody Marys. Started with the golf. I take it back. We weren't there first thing. So Rob's deal was I really got to get on this 16th green. So you got to understand, it's literally impossible to get in there. So we had a plan the night before.
Well, tell them a little backdrop, because there are people that line up at 4 or 5 in the morning waiting to get in to the 16th hole grandstand, because once you sit there, you don't move.
Yeah.
And you watch all the plays come up. So they're there, they rushed. So I said, Alex, you go ahead, save me a spot, try to.
You know, the day before when we were there with the girls, we saw there's literally a line that lines up. And the line stays lined up to get in there the entire day. Because when someone gets up to use the restroom or leaves, they bring someone else in. And it's just the most craziest, rowdiest, golf hole ever to be played.
The first day with the girls, we sat on the 10th hole in the grandstands, and behind us is the 16th. So as we're walking, you smell beer, you smell the hot dogs, you hear the crowd, and you say to yourself, am I at a golf tournament or a football or baseball game? But that's what it sounds like. It's constant. There is nothing in the world like it. And I am so fortunate Alex's sister got us the tickets to really experience that, because wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So real quick, on the second day, Rob's vision or his bucket list was, we got to get in
to
there.
The 16th. Yeah.
And I'm telling myself, it's going to be impossible, Rob.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? I tell you what, let's get there early. I'm not in the greatest shape I used to be, but I know he wasn't going to run for it.
I can't run. Not with my knees.
So I said, you know what? We'll get there. I'm running for it, Rob. I I said if Rob runs for it, we're calling 911 because something's going to go on here.
Go ahead,
So
go ahead.
I take off. I get halfway there. I'm out of breath halfway. Now, from when you get into the course to the 16th green, it's
You got to walk. Yeah.
It's a walk.
It's a walk. It is.
So I'm trucking along. I'm trying to pace myself. I'm trying to jog, walk fast, run. I get there, and the line is lined to get into the green. Oh, son of a gun. So I get in line.
Yeah.
I'm waiting in line. I think I'm in a good spot in line. I think I'm good. I'm looking at my watch. I got time because this guy, good God, it's going to be 30 minutes.
Sure.
So all of a sudden my phone rings, and he says,
Alex, where are
you
you?
at? I go, I'm in the friggin' line. Where are you at? He goes, I'm in. I go, what? What in the heck?
Yeah.
So this guy, he goes around the wrong side of the 16th green, and he goes to an entrance where the freaking vendors are going in. And he says, hey, my buddy's in there already. The vendor says, come on in.
As I walk up the ramp, there it is, the 16th, the grandstand, it's right there. And I'm saying, where's Alex? Where's that red sweatshirt? Where is he?
Yeah. So, lo and behold, he called me back. I had to make the decision, like, what am I going to do? So I pulled myself out of line. I went to one of the security, and thank goodness this gal says, you know what? If you go around the backside, no one knows.
Yeah.
There's a tunnel. You can go in. Everybody wants to sit on this end, but you're going to be right where you want to be. So I was able to get in there. Rob was able to get in there. We spent a good couple hours there. It was the most incredible opportunity. We literally were right on the green, and I promise you that we'll probably put some pictures at the end of the show when we were on the 16th green. If you've never watched the Phoenix Open and you're not a big golf person, at least Google the 16th hole at the Phoenix Open.
Yeah.
It's nothing like you'll ever imagine. You talk golfers coming across there literally chanting, getting booed at. If they were to birdie the hole or hole the hole out, beer cans are thrown on the course. They have to shut it down.
It happened last year. It did, but this year, I guess the way the pin placements were, it was windy.
Yep.
Nobody made a hole in one. They came close, but it didn't. And but still, it was such a great. Walk to Talk Sports now is at the 18th hole. Right at the Phoenix Open, and we're right behind you. That's where our hospitality tent is. We are ready to fire it up. Let's go, boys. I'll never forget it for the rest of my life. I've seen the ladies play professionally. This was the first time I've seen the men play, and it's like, I mean, Natalie, she'll tell the story, my wife, that you watch him hit the ball and you wait for it. They hit it so far and high, and you're waiting for it to land. Maybe a minute. Oh, I mean, what's going on, guys? But that's how good they are. And like I said, it was such a great experience. And that night, I had the opportunity to be a cowboy. Priscilla and Alex took us to this, what is it, Buffalo Chip?
Buffalo Chip.
Rodeo, and it was awesome. It was, oh man, typical cowboy. I was waiting for either Clint Eastwood or John Wayne to come through those doors, but it was awesome.
It was out in the middle of the desert, and it was just a fun place. It was one where you actually sit on a saddle. We won't say that Natalie couldn't get on the saddle. She couldn't get on the saddle.
She couldn't get on that saddle.
But you know what? We had a great time. Then they actually, in the back of this saloon, they actually had a real rodeo. We sat out there and watched these people ride on these bulls.
These kids,
and, it was a lot of fun. It was a great weekend. But when it comes back to sports and golf, it was exciting because Scotty Scheffler won for the second year in a row the Phoenix Open. It was fun to watch them come across the 16th green because they literally would make their first shot on that par 3, and then they walk through the desert, and they literally walk from where Rob and I are to where Bill is, and you could yell out, you could do whatever. It was a lot of fun to watch.
You know, a lot of fans yell out their alumni, the college they went to, and they give the signal and stuff. I think Johnny Rahm did that one time. Right. So it was cool to see. It was, because that's the side.
It was a lot of fun. So that was the Phoenix Open. I mean, the following week at the Genesis at Riviera Country Club.
Johnny Rahm. Johnny Rahm won
took
it.
over the #1 spot in the world.
Right.
And then we're jumping because we're so far behind. Last week, the Arnold Palmer. Where we at? Was it
Kurt?
Arnold? No,
Kurt
that's
won.
coming up. I'm sorry. Arnold Palmer's coming up. That was the Honda Classic.
Right.
And Kirk had won last weekend.
In the playoff round, yes.
Yep, Chris Kirk won.
Came down to the wire. But other news as far as, and plus this past weekend, the new league out of Saudi Arabia, LIV, started their tournaments, and it was first televised on Channel 11, CW, whatever you want to call that. They don't have a major network, but it's a different aspect on team play. They play as a team, and then you're awarded also for your individual, the person with the lowest scoring in the tournament. Something different than what the PGA does, but I think the PGA this past week or yesterday, they came out with a statement that they're going to do something similar. Lower the field so the good players stay in that tournament, and that's what people want to see. And I guess the purses, the money, will be even higher. So they're getting the hint. Whether they join forces, I don't see it happening within a year, 2 years, but you never know. You never know.
And it's funny, Rob and I were going back and forth all weekend, and I don't know if some of you golfers out there had a chance to check out the Live Golf, but I went into the weekend not a fan, and then I kept texting Rob because I was in quarantine this weekend. I kept texting Rob like, you know what? I'm sort of digging this, and it puts a totally different spin. I just got through watching the thing on the PGA, and I get it. When you take away the tradition of the PGA. All the old timers, Palmer and all them. I get some of the golfers that stuck with the PGA. And then when you look at the Live, if you get a chance, if you want to watch something really fun, it looks like the Live Golf folks took a page out of the Phoenix Open.
Yeah.
And their entire golf tournament is based on that. I'm watching it in the room, and Priscilla says, what's that music?
Yeah.
And you see guys, they're trying to putt in, and you got music like you hear it sticks.
Wow.
Music going on in the background.
And not only that, I mean, they're wearing shorts.
Wearing shorts.
It's just a lesser.
No more tradition of the pants.
Right.
And I don't know. I find that I was very on the fence. I think I was on the fence about Saudi Arabia and them funding this thing, pulling players from the PGA. And then I was, like I told Rob this weekend, I said, man, I'm really torn. You got the whole tradition of golf, but, you have some big time golfers that left and went to Live.
Right.
And, and their focus was, when you listen to them, is that, we don't have to play as much. We have families, and we need to secure our future. Am I excited about them securing it because Saudi Arabia is paying them all this money? But you know what? It was fun, and I think the next tournament is coming up is in Tucson.
Yes.
Crazy money, and like Rob was saying, it's a really a different format. You play individually, and then you're also on a team. So there's teams of 4, and they all have different names. It's almost like you're looking at football or baseball. You have like the Crushers. It's a 4-man team.
The 4 Aces.
The 4 Aces. You have all these different teams.
Yeah.
And the way they have it structured is so different from the PGA. I mean, but you know what? It's 2023. I mean, who knows? It's a ton of money. Do I think, can the money really hold out? You have a guy, I'm going to tell you right here, I'll read this. You have, is it Charles? Charles Howell.
Yes.
Charles Howell III. He won this last weekend, the Live tournament. So he, in his PGA tour time of 609 career starts, he made $40 million. Last weekend, he made almost $5 million last weekend playing in the Live tournament. The money's ridiculous. You get paid if you win as an individual, and then your team, based on where they finish, they get paid. It's a sick amount of money they're getting paid. The whole thing is a big atmosphere like almost you've won the Super Bowl every weekend. I mean, at the end of the tournament, they're on the stage, they're popping champagne, it's crazy, money's going everywhere. Yeah. It's just so different from what PGA was to live. But there's a little fun in it. I kept texting Rob all weekend like,
yeah, you're on the fence.
It's sort of cool.
I mean, look, the PGA is going to have its traditional tournaments, the Masters, all that, the Players. I mean, and the Open in Europe. I mean, that's still going to be there, and people are still going to be keen on watching those tournaments. But you know what? This is a little different spice, and it's fun. You know, and maybe for the younger players. For the younger generation that want to get into golf, it could be the deal, but hey, you know what?
And one thing they do is they don't have a cut. So it's not like you're playing Thursday to make a cut to play on the weekend. You're playing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that's it. And these are already teams that are established that have been drafted, almost like a football draft at the beginning of the season.
I forgot that, that's right.
So you literally I have some of the names, Crushers, Four Aces, Torque, Stinger, Ripper. These are all teams of 4 that are ex-PGA golfers that have made these teams. And every year, I think at the end of the year, the top 24 get to either stay on their team, the rest drop, or whatever number that is, and then you literally have to be drafted by these teams at the beginning, before the beginning of the season, of this golf season. It's really strange. I'm still trying to learn a lot more about it. It was a little bit exciting. They definitely had the party atmosphere going on when it comes to golf. It was a little bit different seeing the pros playing in shorts and making a ton of money. But anyways, the Live is something to look at.
Yeah, I think it'll be here in August, right? Bedminster, Trump's
playing in August.
golf course. Yep.
They're playing here in August.
So that's a wrap in golf, guys. Once again, anything else you have to add?
You know what I don't? The only thing I have is...
I just hope this thing is not blinding to the camera, you know? I don't know. It looks like it's shining pretty much to me.
A lot of bling. I feel important.
I can't.
No, the only other thing I have, and it's sort of old news, but I'll share it because it was something fun we got to do. Because it was a week ago, and then we didn't get to do our show last week, but we got to pop over to Manchester High School.
Yeah.
And we got to see girls basketball. Our own Jim Schneider was reffing it. He's quite the celebrity when he comes to reffing.
Yeah, he's well known.
When he walked on the basketball court, people...
Like they part ways. That's it. Jim's coming, yeah? Oh, yeah.
So it was pretty exciting. I think they played Cedar Creek.
Yeah.
The Manchester gals, I don't think they've gone any further, and I don't have a follow-up with them because the next week they were going to play a pretty good seat. But it was a playoff game. They beat Cedar Creek 52-33. We were sitting in the audience, and I called the game from the beginning. Rob was sitting next to Mr. Murphy, and they tried telling me how Cedar Creek was going to win, was going to beat Manchester.
All right, you got one right, Alex.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I called that one. I will give a props out to Manchester. Holy cow, they had a junior.
Yeah. This girl was phenomenal. She was.
Devin Quigley.
Yeah.
She scored 37 points out of their 52. It was funny because when she was playing, as Jim was running by being Mr. Ref, we were like in awe, and he literally did this. He goes, "She'll easily score 30." Holy cow!
And this
sure
was
enough,
right.
37. Right. And as we walked out, I kid you not, you had. Who was there looking at it? Princeton was there. Rutgers coach was there.
Yeah.
Pretty talented young lady right here at Manchester High School. It was exciting to watch.
And she's a junior, right?
A junior.
So, yeah.
It was exciting to watch Jim ref as well. Give it up to her. Junior Devil, 37 points. Yep. So that was the last really high school we went to. It was fun to do. It was fun to support and go see Jim ref. I think I've heard he's got a couple actually state championship games coming up that he's going to be reffing. So he's the real deal. I'm glad we had him on the show last time.
Yes, we did.
He's the real deal.
You saw a side of Jim that people don't know, as far as outside the village, which
the last thing,
was very nice.
And I forgot to mention it. I know, because I got when I the corner of my eye when I look at the producer guy, he's giving me the wink. He's anxious to go on vacation.
He's on a roll, Mike. He's on a roll. Let him go.
Hey,
he's on a roll.
Is baseball, Rob? Can you break down to me the whole baseball thing with? with everything being timed now, it's got to be like a new deal.
I love it. I love it. The games go faster.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
The pitchers
Time
have
clock.
X amount, like 20 seconds to.
Well, didn't they have the time clock last night at the board meeting? Same thing.
Sure. There we go.
Same thing. The
There
board
we go.
meeting. Time clock. That's
Cut.
it. I love it.
Get up, hit, cut the nonsense, and move on.
That's it.
All right.
All right. So once again, everyone, thank you for being here today. I know it's a little longer show than we anticipated, but we had a lot to cover. Once again, Michael Blank, Bill Johnson, KLVW-TV, everyone at the station, thank you. Thank you. And
Before you sign off, I'm sorry.
go ahead.
I know. 2 minutes. 1 minute. Listen, I do want to mention, watch your televisions for a commercial coming up, because this is an important deal. Is that on April Fools, the Bocce Club is going to be sponsoring a golf tournament where proceeds are going to be going to the Doug Flutie Autism Foundation. This is something different for Bocce. It's a really April Fools. We decided to have a little fun. This is open to the entire village. Yeah. So if you see this on Walk the Talk Sports, you can get in contact with Rob or myself. We encourage everyone to come aboard. We got stuff for you. If you can't walk the 9 holes and participate, we got something else for you. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be a fabulous day that's gonna involve the entire community. So I encourage all of you to get a hold of us. It's going to a great cause. April 1st starts off the month of autism awareness, and we're pretty excited to be putting it on.
Yeah, and our meeting on Monday, the Bocce meeting, will be taking, names as far as people want to play as part of a foursome for the tournament or whatever it is. We're looking forward to that. So once again, thank you. And remember, everyone, keep it between the lines.